Hey everybody, Jason here in my garage once again, and I am back with another LED light review and test of the HoneyDiff headlights. Now, before I get into this, I want to talk to you about something real quick. As you know, I like to do these automotive LED lighting reviews here on my channel, in addition to the other things on my channel, such as the Corvette stuff, and the truck stuff, and the ceramic coating stuff, and the product review stuff, and the general garage life stuff, and more. And then there's this. What do you guys think about me creating a separate channel strictly dedicated to LED lighting tests like this? I'd like to know your thoughts, so please leave your comments below. Now that I've said that, let's get into this. The HoneyDiff LED headlight replacements. Now, like my other forward lighting reviews, I'm going to do an introduction, unboxing, go over the published specs, cover some of the details, and then of course, I'm going to do a brightness test and a light pattern test to see how it performs. And if you haven't seen how I do my testing methods, here's how I do it. An H11 headlight projector testing rig that I made, a 2018 Ford F-150 reflector headlight. I use this specifically because the Ford F-150 is the best-selling vehicle in America, and 2018 had the highest production number in the past 15 years. A benchtop power supply, and a basic lux meter mounted on my garage wall 20 feet away from where the projector or reflector is that I'll position the LED hotspot on. I measure initial brightness and then again after 27 minutes to see how the heat impacts the light output over time. I use 27 minutes because that's the average commute time in the United States. My tests aren't for lux number accuracy, but for comparison to a stock H11, which measures 550 projected lux and 910 reflected lux when performing the same test that I will on the light featured in this video. And if you want to do the same tests of your own, I put a complete list of the equipment I use in the description. Now, as always, before I get started, always remember, check the aim of your headlights at least once a year and always aim them after replacing the bulbs. If you install an LED headlight and the cutoff is bad and you can't aim them accurately, or the light output scatters too much, it is not safe to use. Try a different style of LED, or one with a lower output that will be more compatible with your light housing. See my other videos for more reviews. Now, this video is for informational purposes for using LED lights legally, and when I say headlights, I'm referring to legal off-road use or fog light use only, as replacing factory halogen bulbs with LEDs for headlights in the US is not currently legal nor DOT approved. All right, now let's get to the unboxing and details of the HoneyDiff LED lights. Now, before I jump into it here, the one thing I want to tell you that I think is kind of neat about HoneyDiff is that they sell them individually as an H11, which is what I'll be testing today, as well as in a kit with the combination of the H11 and the 9005, which is usually the low beams and the high beams. But today, I'm just going to be testing the H11s. All right, let's unbox it. Baggie with zip ties and double-sided tape for the drivers and the cords. Another baggie with instructions and some white gloves. Let's take those out. If I can get the thing open. There we go. Some nice white gloves to keep your hands clean and keep your fingerprints off the LED chips. I would guess that's what it's for. Kind of small, but hey, they're free gloves. And of course, the instruction manual. It's pretty decently done. Tells you everything you need to know. All right, let's take a look at the unit itself. Now, the published specs on this are 30 watts each, 8,000 lumens with a color temperature of 6,500 K. It has a CSP chip. It does have an adjustable ring that is friction based, like that. It is fan cooled. And as you can see, it has an external driver. It does have a polarity sensitive plug, an IP rating of 68, lifespan of the typical 50,000 hours, a 1-year warranty. Now let's get into the price at the time that I'm making this video. The H11 is $20.99, very affordable. The 9005 that I mentioned earlier is $22.99, but you can buy them both as a kit on Amazon for $41.99. So buying them both together, low beam and high beam, it saves you $1. So it also is CAN bus ready for 98% of the vehicles. It is said to have a Y-shaped heat sink, but I can't see it. It's somewhere in there. I'm really not sure what that means by that, but that's what they say. Here's my first impressions. First of all, red LED headlights are kind of neat, even though you won't see them much after you put them in, especially in a projector housing. It's on the smaller side, so it's a little bit more compact. Overall build quality is decent for a $20 light. I mean, let's face it, we're talking about $20 here for a pair. Cords are pretty decent. Connector is pretty decent. It's pretty standard for what you get for $20. The driver is very, very compact. It's not very big at all, so it's good for any tight areas. Overall, it feels pretty standard for a budget headlight. But what's important here is how it works out in terms of brightness and light cutoff, and of course the reflector housing. So let's take a look at how it performs. Well, I gotta tell you, for a small headlight, 938 lumens is pretty impressive. That's 388 above stock. And after 27 minutes, it still retained 86% of that brightness at 806 lux. Now, I see here in the projector that the cutoff could be a little bit flatter, but overall not too bad for a budget headlight. Projectors are pretty easy to control the light. However, let's take a look at the reflector. The reflector is 1,910 lux, and that's an even 1,000 above stock, which is 910, of course. And after 27 minutes, that's 1,642. Now, the one thing that I did know about this is that I tested the temperature, and it does run just a little bit hot, at about 131 degrees for the main unit and 140 degrees for the driver. That is on the hotter side for a quality LED light, but again, we're talking about a budget unit. Now, the cutoff here is not bad in the projector. It mimics the factory pretty well, but it does arc up to the left. You can see a little bit there. So overall, not too bad. I'm actually rather impressed for the small size and the small fan, and the fact that it did manage the heat okay. There's been a lot hotter lights that I've tested. 131 is on the higher side of average, but not too high. I'm rather impressed for the money of what you get out of it and for the light. Okay, so here's my conclusion on this one. I'm actually rather impressed with the brightness and the cutoff on this for being a very low-priced budget light. The fan is pretty small and does run pretty loud, and the unit overall does heat up pretty fast, but it seemed to maintain that 131 degrees temperature pretty solidly after it heated up. I think that fan being so loud might be helping what's keeping the heat down a little bit, because I would expect something like this to be just a little bit hotter for being as bright as what it is. So let's talk about the pros and cons. Decent pattern, brighter than expected, and it's really affordable. I can't say it enough, $20.99 a pair. The cons on this, yeah, it gets hot and it gets loud, and the budget light is, so-so, but the quality reflects the price. So if you're looking for like a super entry-level LED light to replace your factory lights, this might be a good choice just to give it a try. I mean, for 20 bucks, can't really beat it now. So as always, thanks for watching my video. I hope it helps you to find the right lighting upgrades for your needs. And if you got a suggestion on what I should test in the future, please leave a comment and I'll check into it. Don't forget to let me know if you'd like to see these videos on a dedicated channel other than this one you're watching on it right now. And of course, subscribe and share appropriately. Please drive safely, responsibly, and respectfully.